eternal love and truth divine. Welcome to the paradise of self. That's what this title will be named. And why? We finna debunk the top of tops, the beliefs of beliefs, the theories of theories. And what is that? That is, there is no such thing as God's law. This is an April Fool's trick on the people. And as we're going to declare through its own scriptures that you would not find the words God's law, because there is no such thing. These are fabrications, and these are compiles of lies. As we begin, we're going to start with the most superior of what is called law. So we're going to go canon law. Now the canon law is considered the highest law. So we're going to see why canon law is the highest law. Now it goes back into a historical aspect, but we're just getting into God's law right here. Okay, canon 1757. Canon 1757 goes like this. The greater fraud is not the fraud upon the people by the government and judiciary class. Let's restart. The greater fraud is not the fraud upon the people by the government and judiciary class within inferior Roman law societies, but the fact that inferior Roman law first deceives all those who seek to practice law, thus entombing them within a prison of lies. Entombing the people in the prisons of lies. As you see the document validating before we even get started that there are a prison of lies, and God's law is one of them. And we're going to unveil what is the real God's law that they are pointing to, that they don't want the people all to know. So we're going to read some scripts. So Jesus answered them, it is not written in your law, I said, you are gods? Question mark. We're just going to hit the good. If you want to take a screenshot for further self-study, you can do that. I'm going to read the highlights. Jeremiah, shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Question mark. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, not God's law, the law, do by the nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves. Okay, keep all this in mind. To them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to God, but under the law to Christ, that I might gain them that are without law. Ye shall not go after other gods, or of the gods of the people which are round about you. Going after the way of other nations, following their ways that lead to all vanity. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. Talking the flesh warring against yourself. For those that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. See that? You catch it. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. No idols. The gods are idols. Have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which do not profit. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment in which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do forevermore, and you shall not fear other gods. Idols. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. For as many have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Then shall you say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, say the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. See, it's a certain law that belongs to God, and that's going to be revealed as we move and proceed. But as we see, no God's law yet, but God do have a law. And we're talking about God, the creator. And have cast kings, 2 Kings, have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. The Lord God of gods, the Lord God of gods, he knoweth, in Israel he shall know, if it be in rebellion or in transgression against the Lord. And they eat, and they called the people, Numbers, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat, and bowed down to their gods. Their gods. See, no oneness, theirs. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice. For they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. For I through the law am dead to the law, that I might live unto God. So back to the canon. See, this fraud is those who those who seek to practice law. So to practice law is to know what law to be practiced. And so since they hid what law is to be practiced, thus entombing the people within a prison of lies. So that is what's considered the mind virus, the warring of the mind that was spoken of earlier. And this is making a spiritual warfare between the lower flesh and the lower thoughts. And so these things are taken upon by this prison. And so the prison is not the cell that they have built. The prison is the prison of lies, built of all fraud and falsehood. And so this must be debunked as we bring in the truth of the nature. This is what they have been hiding. 31. There we go. As we bring in the truth to what is God's law. This is the paradise of self. The law, al-ha-ka. Ha-kam. And I know we ain't gonna get into a large scholarship, but this predates, and this word goes back to the word Heka. And the word Heka is an ancient Egyptian word. And we understand that that Egyptian word is pointing to the law. And this word, the law, the truth, and the rule is what Haka, Hakam, or Hekam. So we have to understand that the law is the sword, number 4. It's also the 29th name of the Creator. And 4, the source. The law is the source, the well of all form, meaning, and rule. The law is the beginning point from which all lesser law manifests. You see it for yourself. The law is the beginning point. After that, this is where all manifestation comes from. And the manifestation called natural law is still the law, but it's the lesser law. And so we finna work our way to what is God's law, G-O-D law. So here we come, number 6. All law. Allah is the one true and only divine creator. Now keep this word, divine creator. The one true and only divine creator. Allah. Now, this is the point that we want to point to what is God's law. Number 7, breaking out the circle into the freedom of the 7. The first law, God's law, is divine law. There we have it, revealed. God's law, the first law, is divine law. And so, the law of all law. Allah is the divine creator of all things. Allah is the collection of all words, all ideas, and all form. There is nothing greater. Thus, all law must come from the divine and all law. As all the words of law are born from the Creator. So there we have it. If you want to read more, as you see, it mentions natural law, which is the lesser law. And we just went over divine law. And divine law is the beginning point of all law. And God's law is divine law. And so, the law of all law. Remember, KOSN. Well, before we go, to bring that on home, because let's bring that on home. Number 45. He who knows his own self knows all law. So this is about knowledge of self. So remember, KOS. He who knows KOS knows all law.